Well, hello everyone. So we're here in Cookie Clicker. Um, yeah, Cookie Clicker released on Steam like about last week, sometime I think it was, or was it earlier this week? I can't remember. But I've reached my goal, so I figured I would do this video and talk about it. My goal was to get every Ascension that I could. You go through and get all the Ascensions here. Last one I needed. And that is it. Everything has been taken here. And that was the last one to get. Let me reincarnate here. And there we go. So Cookie Clicker. Probably know about it. Released back in 2013 or 14, I think it was. And it just, like I said, just recently released on Steam. And I set a goal for myself to get all the legacy traits, buy everything in the legacy system, the Accession system, and I just completed that. Now I don't have, like everything. If I bring up Steam here and go like this, you can see it. I'm not sure you'll be able to see it. No, it doesn't look like it. Let me try that. There we go. So I've gotten 414 achievements. There's 97 more to get. 425 of 532, 80% of the achievements I've gotten. So there are a lot of achievements, as you can see. These all down here are the ones I don't have. So let's go through and I'll show you what I did actually to do this. I went and got, mods, guides, and stuff and started looking into it. I've played Cookie Clicker before, but I've never, played it like I was going to invest time into it. If I can get this thing to capture here. Come on. Give me a capture. There we go. Sorry about that. It's kind of finicky. Right, you can't really game capture it with the game capture system. You have to use a hotkey capture on it. So yes, there are some mods I am using. Go down to manage mods. I have an auto clicker. If you don't like using auto clickers, fine, leave. You can leave. I don't care. I play with an auto clicker because I like using the auto clicker. So there you go. I got CCSE, which is the Cookie Clicker script extender mod for other mods to use. Fortune Cookie by the same author of CCSE, so you need CCSE to use Fortune Cookie. Horta Cookie, same thing. This is for your garden. Light idle training. I got this, but I barely used it. It's for the stock market, and it's by the same author as these up here. And then there's Cookie Monster, which is pretty well known in the community. Most people use it, even if they don't, unless they're doing like a pure run. Cookie Monster is this bar down here at the bottom that gives you times of how long until you get the item, how much of payout it payback period is, all kinds of information. It gives you good information of what to buy when, so you know which one to buy and everything, and all that stuff. And basically what you do is you click the cookie. And to make cookies, to buy the stuff over here, which is production stuff and stuff like that. And then you got all these upgrades up here that you get. This is all stuff you unlock from the Ascension system, like seasons and all kinds of stuff. I'll go over all that later. Golden cookies. Golden cookie appears on the screen. You click it, it gives you an effect. The most common one is Frenzy. Then there's Click Frenzy. Then Storm Cookies. It's a bunch of cookies on the screen. Then there's the Cookie Chain. There are negative ones. They're called Wrath Cookies. You get later on, or you could, turn it on pretty quickly if you wanted to. But I don't know why you'd want to. You got a news ticker up here telling you all about your stuff. Also, once you unlock a deal in the Legacy Ascension system, you get like fortune cookies up off in here, and they give you buffs for things. They're very good. So like it's telling me I can buy these over here. If I just buy things here, buy this up here, buy here. You really should only buy the blue things up here on the upgrade deals if you're using the system for deals. The only thing I can say is the gray ones, like this one and that mouse that I took and the egg. It can't measure the how much those are worth, because they could be worth anything or nothing. The mouse clicks are only worth if you're clicking something. So that's why it can't really calculate. It doesn't know if you're clicking or not. The value of the clovers is in golden cookies, but you can turn golden cookies off if you want to, so you don't get golden cookies. So that's why also they don't calculate them normally. Things like that. Here is something you unlock in the system later. I'm just going to go ahead and do that. That is an aura. It gives you have like milk here, as you can see behind the auto click deal I have. Milk. The more milk you have, the higher your CPS, your clicks per second is, and you get like upgrades called kittens. These things here that give you that buff that. The more milk you have, how you get milk is by doing achievements. The more achievements you have, the higher your level of milk. You start here at playing milk and go all the way up. I doubt I have them all. I'm at maple milk right now. Go ahead and buy things here. Buy all that. Oh, let me buy that. That'll make it go a whole lot faster in here. What am I at here? Where are they at? In here some. Here, okay. That's my maximum there. I'll talk about this stuff here in just a little bit. Where is weird? Have I not bought? I haven't even bought a farm yet. There we go. All right. It wants me to buy 100 of grandma's. Okay. It'll give you highlight which one you want to switch to for things. The reason why I have it highlighted at 10 is because I have a setting set to buy only in 10s. It's for a Pantheon thing in the temples, and I'll get all into that as soon as I get up into things here. It wants me to buy 100 farms. Oops, hold on. I only ever buy after I bought 600 wizard towers, which is way later in the game, so don't try this at home. Just keep on buying only 50 of them, and I go to I have it hidden. There we go. Grab that. Take a second for that other one to come up. There it is. And that. Okay. That. Go to here. That. Save. That. Hold on. Go back. And save those again. I can fix that in just a second. And then we go back here, open up Cookie Monster, and we can ignore the best item for now. Eventually, the wizard towers will go into where it wants you to buy 100 of them, and then you just click it again to ignore the second best item, and that's pretty much it. I can actually go over here now and buy all these in hundreds. So as you see, the wizard tower is now green. If I go do that, then it's gone again, and it should not be back for a while. If it does, just go back up here and click it again, and it'll ignore the third best item, and then it'll be gone for sure if it does come back up there. I'm just buying hundreds because I can. And we go back and buy tens of things, upgrade everything, click this again, click save. As you can see, I'm getting legacy again. It's after you do it after you extend the first time, it goes really fast. Got research started, which is good. Can't buy hundreds still. Still working. Come on through. Eventually I'll get to the point where I can't buy something. Here we go. I'll get upgrades that we can. Buy that. Okay, we're pretty much where I usually have to stick for a couple of seconds. As it starts getting, I have to wait at that point now. So let me save again. So okay, let's do some talking. So when you first boot up the game, the thing is it's going to want you to click the cookie. You click the cookie, you unlock some things over here, you click on their buildings. They are part of this, what you call an idle system. You can just let it go from there. You don't ever have to click the cookie again if you don't want to, because as soon as you unlock the first thing here, it automatically starts producing cookies automatically for you. Now, it's not the greatest, so you still want to click the cookie for a while longer, or get an auto clicker like I have and run that. And when you do that, you just continue on and go through. One of the first systems you're going to run into after that is the golden cookie system. What happens is a golden cookie spawns, and when it does, you click it, or if you have the auto clicker, it automatically clicks it for you, and an effect happens. And one of many effects can happen. You can get frenzy. This is pretty much what you're going to get most of the time. There is another thing called lucky. It gives you based off a percentage of how many cookies is stored in your bank. Like I have 5.4045 quadric cookies, or how do you want to pronounce that? And it will give me a percentage. It's kind of like here, I'll talk about this later, but it would give you a percentage like this gives you a percentage here. This gives you like 15% of your cookies owned. The lucky gives you another percent when you click, when it gives you a lucky cookie. There's a whole math system behind it. If you look, when I go and do this, eventually I'll start getting a warning that I'll be underneath my lucky limit, and I should refrain from purchasing anything else. See how it says warning? Purchase of item will put you under this number of cookies requested for lucky. So it this is from this whole tooltip is from Cookie Monster to give you, help math and everything. You can work out the math yourself if you want. It's really, really rough, but to do. But if you want to download Cookie Monster, put that in, and I'll go over the whole downloading and installing mods pretty much at the end of this, so you know what to do. I'll grab that. So that is the golden cookies. Like I said, there's many different things. Click frenzy happens. That's where it's like you have to click the cookie. When you get a click frenzy, you want to get the cookie. There's also building specials, which gives you the it chooses one of your buildings, and it just basically ramps up its production. at the time. There's click storm drops where there is a bunch of cookies all over the screen. It's just, and it's just like about, I don't know, 5 seconds of cookies, just golden cookies, just everywhere. They're all lucky, so that goes off your lucky percentage. And then there is the cookie chain where you click one cookie, another appears, and you just keep on clicking it. It's usually like I think it's always like a chain of 5, and it always starts at a low number, and as you move up in the chain, it gives you up into like one level less, I think. Like I'm at duo deck per second of cookies. It would give me like Uno deck, which is the tier lower than my production of cookies. That's usually where it stops that I've found. And then around 1 billion cookies, I want to say, you start getting what is known as sugar lumps. Now, sugar lumps are to upgrade your buildings here. See how this is like upgraded to level 3? And if I want to go to level 4, I would have to have 4 sugar lumps. This is the part where you have to wait. It takes, as you can see, without my buffs that I have, I've got buffs on this, so it comes out quicker. But without buffs, it takes a day to get a full cookie, and this runs offline. This sugar lump system will run offline. I think somebody did the calculations, and to upgrade everything in the whole game, all the buildings, including your cookie, because your cookie can be upgraded too, to the max, it would take 2 years of waiting to get the sugar lump. If you didn't do anything else to get sugar lumps, it would take, and no Ascension upgrades at all, it would take over 2 years to get enough sugar lumps. To do just one building all the way up, I think it's 66 sugar lumps, or is it? It could be 46. I think it's 66, though, sugar lumps in total. Check the wiki. There is a wiki. It is very good. Let me go and click on this so you can see it. I use this religiously on this, and so go to the Cookie Clicker wiki. There's all kinds of information. There's all kinds of math. If I go to like let's see, the Grimoire. This is like your spell book from the. It's a mini game from the Wizard Tower things. It's all these spells, like I was talking about, like conjure baked goods and things, and it gives you a lot of math. It gives you manipulations, gives you information about the Gambler's Fever Dream, which is kind of pick this for only so much mana, and it would use another one at half cost. It gives you like the spontaneous edifice mechanics. It tells you about conjure baked goods, tells you about Force Hand of Fate, which is the big thing to look at. This is one of the big things, is the Hand of Fate, especially in early game. Your mana recharge math, so you can calculate how much, if you don't have like Cookie Monster to give you the calculation itself. Optimal max limits for what optimal max magic cost to cast that spell, how long it takes for it to recharge, what is the optimal setup for everything. As you can see, Force Hand of Fate at 38, optimal max manic, cost of 32 for the spell, takes 1,238 seconds, which is the cheapest time. That's why I stop at 50 Wizard Towers, because that at my level of my towers gives me 38 and 32 cost. So that is why I'm there. And then you get it tells you what achievements come with the Wizard Towers and things. It gives you trivia about it and everything. It's all kinds of useful information about everything, like the Ascension system, where you get cookies, what the tree looks like, what everything is, and stuff like that. The wiki is a very important part of this game, I feel. So you should definitely take a look at it. I will have a link to the wiki down below in the description of this video. So So that is, the good information if you want to look at stuff like that. Um, Now, let's see. Let's talk about buildings. You have, if I go to the cell, this is how the order it is unlocked in right here. As you can see, it's different for me on my buy screen because I have it set up in Cookie Monster to put the one I'm supposed to buy at the top, so I know which one always to buy, so I don't have to go looking for it. But it starts out with cursors, which are the things that go around the cookie, acting like a clicker. Grandmas make cookies. Farms make cookies. This is the farm right here. All of these right here, with a single sugar lump, you unlock the garden. This is a big part of the end game here. I mean, way later than I'm at even, where you combine plants, mutate them together to make different plants that give you different effects and everything. And it takes a good long while. It's kind of like the sugar lump system. It will take you a while. Like this one right here takes 6 hours, 6 minutes, and 42 seconds to get to fully mature, and then it will do something for you. So yeah, and that's like the third plant you can get. So just be aware of that. Um, the mine doesn't have a mini game for it. The factory does not have a mini game for it. The bank has the stock market mini game. I will show that because I did unlock it. But basically, it's a stock market. Basically, is what it is. I messed around with it a little bit. Didn't really see the point of it. You can totally ignore that. I'm pretty sure, and stuff like that. Then there is the temple, which is the Pantheon system. One sugar lump to unlock the Pantheon, which Pantheon should be like your second unlock. You should unlock your Grimoire, and then your Pantheon, and then your garden, and then the bank if you want to. But what this does is it has 3 slots, and the diamond is the highest tier, the ruby is the second tier, and the jade is the third tier. And these are all idols you can put in there that give you different buffs or different numbers, how strong it is compared to what you do. So like this one, I pretty much always run this one in the first slot. It gives golden and wrath cookies, which there are wrath cookies, which are kind of like negative effects of the golden cookies. And they give them a duration of plus 7%, but you lose buildings grant minus 7% of cookies per second, which is you lose that, but you make it up by going through golden cookies, which is pretty much what you want to do, is to go through golden cookies. So I always slot that one in the first slot, unless I'm going to not be here for a while. If I'm going to close the game down, I will slot another one in, and I'll talk about that when I get to it. And then the second slot is conditional of at what point of the game you're in. If you're in the later to middle game, you'll most likely, and you start using seasons, you will want to slot in Cellbrick. If you're not going to do anything with seasons whatsoever, and I'll talk about that later once we get to the sessions and how to go about that, you'll want to, if you're using an auto clicker, you'll want to slot in Myrtle on the second one, which I always do. Or if you're going to be idle, you're going to be away for a long time, you're not going to be clicking anything, slot in this instead. But the problem is then you're kind of counteracting your dude up here, so you might not even want to use him because you're not going to be here to click golden cookies anyway, so he's not even going to be worth it. So it might be better to slot in something like I'm not even sure what to slot in instead there. Oh, well, diamond would be Regato, and I'll talk about him in a minute. And then your second slot would be this one, and then your third slot, if you're idle, I guess would be this one, because you're not going to be clicking any golden cookies, so you can get 5% base cookies per second. I keep on saying clicks. I want to say clicks per second. It's not clicks per second. It's cookies per second. It's what your buildings produce over here. But me, for my third slot, it just depends on what I want to do at the time. So I'll just slot him in here. I should have slotted him in here, but it's okay. It doesn't really matter at this point. I'm not even worried about going up anymore in Legacy, unless I just want a higher number or something, because I can't buy anything else. I've got it all. So let's talk about the other thing, the thing you're going to do when you're idle, because it's going to increase the rate at which you get sugar lumps. It will make them come faster. And you're going to be slotting in the diamond slots Riggydale. He gives sugar lumps ripen 1 hour sooner when he's in the slot here. Now, this is good, but you also have to take into his account effect is only active. Effect is only active when your total amount of buildings ends with a 0. So you have to buy in tens with him. You can't have you can buy 1 here, 2 here, 3 here, 5 here, but as long as his number ends in a 0, and it will show a number when you, let me go ahead and just extend and then come back and put him in. It'll take me a minute to get back to where it was. Let me reincarnate here. Ends. Let me turn this off real quick so that will stop happening. I just want to get back to the temple so I can show you it. There we go. I thought I clicked the thing to give me my prestige, but I didn't. There's a deal for the prestige where if you don't, the reason why it's up there is because there's a thing for the prestige. If you don't activate it, you get more drops from like the season events and stuff. You get the random drops easier. Kind of why I don't have it. Okay, we got the temple. So what you do is you put this in here, and if you, I think it's only with Cookie Monster. I don't think this is available anywhere else. See where it says buildings owned number and then effect is active. I'm not totally sure. This could be in the base game, but it could be a Cookie Monster only part, the mod part. So I just wanted you to be aware of it. But you have to end in a number here, and if end in a 0. So if you're buying in tens, you should be fine. Just try to buy in tens once you get to that point and you have him. With him in the point, it's good to, like I said, put this dude up here, and then where is it? This guy here. Let me turn off those two so I don't click any golden cookies, because with this guy, if you click a golden cookie, he's going to disappear out of this. He's going to be unslotted, and all the swaps will be used up. So what you need to do is when you come back is with this guy in here, you have to swap him out before you click a golden cookie. Otherwise, he will use your swap anyway, and you won't be able to you'll get rid of him, but you won't be able to put anybody in his slot. That's another thing of this system, is there is a swap system, and if you only put one guy in, it only uses up one, and you'll get it back quickly. But the more you put in, the more it uses, and the longer it takes to get a swap back. As you can see, it's going to take me 15 hours and 59 minutes and 9 seconds, which is fine with me because I'm not going to be, swapping anything here for a while because I'm going to turn it off. Let me see, Wizard Tower, one more there. All right, and buy that, and buy that. Okay, now I'm just going to wait here. I don't want to buy a Wizard Tower, so I'm going to set that to ignore for the second. And I'm just going to be buying things here and going back to where I was. I minimize this, I can click save. And he is back here, so we need to ignore the second deal. But yeah, that's the Pantheon system in a nutshell. Is you don't want to click that. That is the gold. This is the golden cookie. It's automatically clicked if you have the auto clicker I'm going to recommend you use. But yeah, it's not. You don't want to click it because this guy will disappear. I'm going to reset this up later, so I don't mind if he disappeared when I clicked it. So I can turn those back on, and I don't have any swaps, and it automatically reset it to the maximum time. So I can't put anybody in there. So if I try to put him in there and see, it won't work because I don't have any swaps. So you do have to be aware of all of that. Grab those and go and start buying. And I just bought 100 wizard towers, and I didn't want to do that. That's, it goes green. Did I buy them? No, I didn't. Okay. I always save like after I make a big purchase of something. So I just bought all those and I bought all those upgrades. So yeah, I kind of just want to have that there. So and let me go ahead and activate my dragon again. This is something you get later on when you ascend. You unlock this little guy here. I need to click that pixel. So that is the temple system, basically in a nutshell. Like I said, I use when I'm in the active mode, I'm actually over here watching it actively play. I could be watching something on YouTube on my TV or down here at the computer. I will have you in the first slot, you most likely in the second slot, and you in the third slot. And then I will have you in the first slot when I'm offline, you in the second slot offline, and you in the third slot offline. You know, so I can get more cookies while I'm offline. And also the offline system is only once you've extended, so it's you're gonna have to extend, I think, like 3 or 4 times before you can save up enough there. So let's go on and move on. We were just talking about the temples. Then I talked about the banks. That's the stock market. I showed that off. I don't really understand it. You buy low, sell high, basically, is all you do there. It can be really strong. I just didn't want to go through the process of it, and I didn't need it anyway to do what I wanted. Then we have, let me go back so I can see here. So the temples, and then we have the wizard tower. This is when you spend one sugar lump, you unlock the Grimorum, and this is what your first sugar lump I feel should be spent on, is unlocking this, because you want this spell. This is the Force Hand of Fate spell. What this does is it gives you access to, once you have enough mana, you spend it on this spell, it will summon a golden cookie or a wrath cookie. It summons a golden cookie on a success. If it backfires, it summons a wrath cookie. And wrath cookies have clot, which is the opposite of frenzy. When you have frenzy, you have ×7 production of everything. When you have clot, you have minus ×7 production on everything. You have ruin, which is the opposite of lucky. It takes away a percentage of your cookies. You have blab. I can't remember what blab does. It's basically bad, so don't worry about it. And then you have what is known as the elder frenzy, which is the only thing out of the wrath cookies which is the most amazing thing there is, including the golden cookies. Elder frenzy, when you get it, gives you a ×666 multiplier to your cookies per second production. So that is the biggest. It's really short. It's even shorter than click frenzy, if I remember correctly. It's like 10-15 seconds or something like that, where Click Frenzy is like up to 20 to 25, if I remember correctly. Um, and it's the one you want the most out of the Wrath cookies, of course, because it gives you actually a huge buff, and that's why you kind of want Wrath cookies, even though they're bad for you. Um, so yes, this is the spell you were wanting when you unlock the Grimorum. You need to get up to 50. I've actually put an extra level, two sugar lumps in here to get it to level 2. I shouldn't have done that. It should be only level 1. Just try to get this spell cost to 32 as I have it, and then your mana bar down here needs to be a max minimum of 38, and that will give you the highest refill rate of your mana bar to use this spell. It takes like 20 minutes to get a full bar, and you don't even need a full bar, so it takes you like maybe 17 18 minutes to get enough mana back to use this spell. I'm also using, as I said earlier, I'm using Fortune Cookie. What Fortune Cookie is, it gives you the outcome of it gives you the possible outcome. It does not give you guaranteed outcome, because I've had this thing on and it not be what it says it's going to give me. It gives you a possible outcome. Now I will say, the longer you play, the more data it gets, the more accurate it becomes. But it's not going to ever be completely 100% accurate. So as you can see, it says I will get a cookie storm if I force Hand of Fate once I have 32 mana. Now, that can happen, but it can also give me Blab, which is right underneath Cookie Storm. It could give me any of it. But the next most likely thing, if I don't get Cookie Storm, is going to be a Blab. If I don't get that, I could get a Building Spatial. There's also always a chance to get Lucky no matter what, because Lucky is the most easiest one to get of the golden cookies. You're more likely to kind of get a Lucky than anything else when you get a golden cookie. That's the highest chance thing you can get when you click a golden cookie, is to get the lucky cookie, and things like that. Now there are other spells you can use, like Conjure Baked Goods. You only ever want to use this when you are going to get the most out of it. As you can see, it will I'm cookies to be gained / lost. If I click it right now, I will gain 29 duodeco of cookies, but I would lose 108 duodecos of cookies if I clicked it right now, because it knows that if I waited until I got to that point of 108 duodeco cookies, I would actually get a little bit more than that number. So I would get, I would gain more than I'd lost, according to the spell. And this is, of course, this part, the little tooltip there, is part of a Cookie Monster tooltip. It is not part of the Fortune Cookie tooltip. The Fortune Cookie tooltip is the forecast up there. That the rest of the tooltip is the Cookie Monster tooltip. As you can see, it says I now have enough mana. If I click this, I will get a Cookie Storm. Let's see. I got a Cookie Storm. That's great. As I said, the longer you use the Fortune Cookie mod, the more able it is to accurately predict what you're going to get. But it's never going to be 100%. I ran into, I think it's like around 80-85% it's correct. The rest of it, it goes the other direction. But if you want more in depth about Fortune Cookie, I would go look up the mod. It's really interesting. Like there's 2 columns, as you can see. They had to separate whether it's Easter and Valentine's or not. So the first column on the left is when you don't have Easter or Valentine's, and the second column on the right, where it says Clot, you see it says Blab on the left and Clot on the right. Left is not Valentine's or Easter. Right is with Valentine's or Easter's systems up here. And I'll talk about those later. So yes, each one of these, the Hand of Fate has the two systems because they do kind of change once you have that going. So the other interesting spells you want to use would be always check your Gambler's Fever Dream before you cast any spell, unlike me, who didn't do that a second ago. Because this can cast any other spell at half cost. Now, there's a more chance of it to backfire, twice the chance of backfiring. So if you see now, there's also a kind of a little trick here. If you see that your uh, Gambler's Fever Dream is going to backfire, your spell that it says it's going to cast is going to backfire. If you go to that spell, there is I think it's a 30% less chance it will backfire when you, even though this says it's going to backfire, it may not backfire if you go and click it manually, because there's always a 30% less chance of it backfiring clicking it manually than with Gambler's Fever Dream. But always check your Fever Dream first before you click any of these spells, because it may be able to cast the Forced to Hand of Fate cheaper than you would cast it yourself. And that's pretty much it on the magic system. The other ones are interesting. This will give you a building, but if you have over 400 of that building, it won't give you it. So yeah, there's the Haggler's Charm, which upgrades are 2% cheaper for 1 minute, and then buildings are 2% cheaper for 1 minute. I've never really found the use for these. I never really needed either of these in my whole playthrough. I mean, early on it might be really really tempting to use these two, but I would never do that because it's just a waste. You're better off waiting for Gambler's Hand of Fate, Force the Hand of Fate, and I'll talk about why in later on when I talk about getting to your first Ascension. Resurrect Abomination is useful later on, but you'll have to get up to 99 mana to get the most, recharge for your mana rate. And so you can cast this multiple times and your mana will just refill really quickly. Then there's Diminished Ineptitude. I never use it. I only ever use it if I need to use another spell. There's also the system of the spells in that if they're going to backfire on you, see how Force Hand of Fate says it's going to give me Blab. If I don't want Blab, I could go over here and click any other spell. Whether it's a success or a backfire, doesn't matter, except for, don't backfire conjure baked goods. I'll take so many cookies away from you. Don't do that. But like if you get Diminished Ineptitude, success or backfire doesn't matter, because once you use this, you're going to be locked out of casting a spell for 10 minutes. And if you cast this and you have like a full mana bar, it'll take like 10 minutes to get that mana back anyway to be able to cast Force the Hand of Fate. So it doesn't matter about the backfire, increasing the backfire chance for 10 minutes. It doesn't matter. It's just a way to cast a spell to get rid of the negative effect of a spell. So yeah, so if I didn't want Blab, I cast this, and then later on when my mana refills enough, I cast this, and it'll be something else. It could be the building special that's under it. It could be a Click Frenzy. It could be Lucky. It could be Frenzy. It's random what it's going to be. But so yeah, that's what you can do. You can also like stretch time. Say you got a Frenzy buff cookie, golden cookie. You could click this, make it last longer, but it'll backfire right now, so you don't want to do that because it'll shorten it. So you just got to pay attention. I would really recommend getting the Fortune Cookie add-on. It gives you so much good information. I would also, this is later on after like you've ascended 2, maybe 3 times, setting the simulate GCs to 1 instead of 0, because this makes it where it always simulates that you already have a golden cookie going on, and later in the game, as you can see, my golden cookie is going to last 175 seconds, I think is the max. If this little gray bar up here is the cooldown until I get a next cookie. And then anytime in this purple area is when I could get another golden cookie. So that is when you that is what you want. You're almost always going to have probably a frenzy up at some point, and having the GC simulate to 1 is going to make it where this looks like what it's going to look like since you already have 1 cookie. And further on, 2 cookies if you have, GC. The reason I said that is because, like I said, I'm pretty much always having frenzy up all the time now that I'm so late into the game. So I automatically count this as 1, and then clicking this would put me at 2. But it also, with this set at 1, makes it look like it's at 3. So I know there is a chance, a bigger chance. The more golden cookies I have, the more chance it is to backfire. This is I've kind of gotten used to this point. In here, you could set it to 0 if you want, but I've gotten used to, now that I've played with it a while, have it set at 1, so I know what is going to happen. As you can see, my frenzy is going to drop because I didn't get frenzy again. I got click frenzy, which is great because that gives us a lot of cookies. I'll talk more about golden cookies once I get to how to extend part, because that golden cookies really play an important part in your first session. So that is about the spells and the wizard tower. There's no mini games on shipments, no mini games on alchemy lab, no mini games on portals, time machines. There's no more mini games. The grimoire is the last one that you spend it on, and then you can spend sugar lumps on your clicker as you want, but that's really like way late in late game, even later than I'm at, and I've already gotten all the heavenly upgrades. So yeah, that ties into the upping this ties into like getting you more clicks per second with the auto clicker and the stock market. It also ties into the stock market later on. So now let's talk. As you buy buildings, you unlock the upgrades and everything for the buildings. You buy a certain number of buildings, you get an upgrade for it, like this one I got because I have so many of the buildings, and if I click it, it improves the efficiency of those buildings. By a whole lot. So it's always, eventually, and like I said, if you have Cookie Monster, don't do like I do and buy all. I'm at the point where I could buy all of them, but it's really more efficient just to buy the ones that are marked blue, because that is actually a better thing to buy than buying this top building here always. If it's marked blue, then buy it before you buy this this top building here that is, telling you to buy it with it being green. So like these are blue, so it wants me to buy those. If you can't buy that, and if you have Cookie Monster and you have the tooltip where it says it's going to take you a while, see how it's time left. The time left is how long it will take you to get enough cookies to buy that. And then there is the payback period, which is way late. So don't buy anything purple, of course. And it goes down in colors until you get to blue, when it gives you a buyback of really good odds, where it's really short of a buyback period. You get your cookies back quick. If it's going to take you like say this was blue here, if it's going to take you like 3 minutes, go ahead and buy the next building. There's no need to wait. You'll most likely unlock another blue to buy that in the time it takes until you can unlock that blue that just will not come to you for you to buy. Go ahead and buy 100 of those so I can get more of them. Buy all of that. And that's pretty much that for that. Um, so let's talk about a session. This is going to be a trip here because there is a lot that goes into a session. First, let's start off with a guide. There is a very good guide, and it is what you want. I'm going to have a link of this in my description, but this is the guide I followed to get to buy everything. It took me longer than this guy took, but I ran into some issue of ending in the and some of these you have to end your prestige number in a 7, and I didn't kind of understand what that meant at a certain point. So I'll talk about that when we go back into the Ascension screen, which is going to be a little bit because I got a little bit more to talk about before we get there, even though we're talking about legacy and Ascension now. So, according to this guide, you'll want to get to 440 for your first succession. That is going to seem like forever on your first succession. It's because you have to get, I think it's like over what is it, over 160 trillion cookies for your first point of accession. I can't remember the total number. um you must get, yeah, let me see here, it's off in here probably in the wiki, if I can figure it out, see if I can find it for you. No. Okay. It doesn't say. Interesting that it doesn't say that in here, but we can add that at some point. But yeah, you have to get like 100 trillion or so cookies baked for your first succession, if I remember correctly. It's some ridiculous number that seems so far away when you're at that beginning point. The thing of it is you can get there, and you can get there quickly. You can get there a whole lot quicker than you think if you go by what I was doing earlier, what I was talking about earlier. So the first, like I said, the first thing you want to do once you get in here and you got the sugar lump, you get your first sugar lump. It's going to take you a day. Just automatically think I'm going to be at least a first day accession. It's just going to take me a while to get there. So the first accession is going to take me like, it took me 4 days, even with the auto clicker. It took me like 4.5 days to get to my first accession. You can get there a whole lot quicker than me. Because it took me a while to find this guide and everything and look everything up. So I'll tell you right now. So what you do, you wait a day, get your first sugar lump. You take that first sugar lump, you spend it in your wizard towers, unlock your Gamora. Then you go and keep on playing normally, unlocking things until you get to where you have the mana I was talking about. 38 max mana and 32 spell cast cost. Now, what you do then, and you don't have to have those exact numbers. You can actually, if you go onto the wiki and you look, there is number lower that you can set at. It does take it longer for your mana to refill, but you can do that if you want. But this is kind of like the optimal one. So 32 cost on Force Hand of Fate, and 38 max mana. What you do is you wait until you have a Click Frenzy, or Frenzy, Click Frenzy, or something like that. Both of them, just one of them. And then you click your Hand of Fate, and you hope it gives you one of three things. You hope it gives you, if you're really lucky, you'll get a building like I did. You'll get a building special. That's helpful. That'll jump you up real good. You could get a Click Frenzy. That's also helpful. Not as helpful as the building, but it's still helpful. If you're really lucky and you have somehow unlocked Grandma Apocalypse, which you could have by when you're getting close to the end and going to extend pretty soon, you could get Elder Frenzy. Uh, If you get a frenzy plus an elder frenzy, or click frenzy plus an elder frenzy, or the building plus an elder frenzy, you're going to skyrocket your number of accession, your prestige level. You're just going to shoot right up. If I remember correctly, on my first prestige, I had just unlocked one mind to start the Grandma Apocalypse, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. And I didn't get Elder Frenzy, but I did have Frenzy at the time. I also was lucky to get a cookie really quickly and got a building cookie. And then I clicked Force Hand Defeat, and I got a click frenzy on top of it. I jumped to like 16,000 a legacy for my first succession. You only need 440. You just skyrocket. This is how you extend the first time. Is you do it by golden cookie combinations. This is like the most powerful thing you can do at this level. Is get golden cookies. As you saw, I had those clover things in here. Let me see. They should be in my stats. I can show them to you under upgrades. Where are they at? Here. Lucky Day, Serendipity, and Get Lucky. You need to spend 719 million to get Lucky Day. It's the first one you'll unlock. Then 71 billion, 72 billion, really, to unlock this one, which makes them appear twice as often and stay twice as long. This one only makes them appear twice as long and stay twice as long, but this one also does it. You'll want both of those. And then you'll have the Get Lucky, which makes them last even twice as long, more. They stack on top of each other. So these things, you'll want these. These are your main purchases, your first accession. You got to be able to get 72 trillion cookies once you do that. And you have to have a golden cookie appear, of course, because these don't appear until you at least get your first golden cookie. So once you get your first golden cookie, these will appear, and then this is when you just start saving up to buy these, and you just go. You keep on buying your buildings and stuff and your other upgrades as you need them, but you don't. You're really, as soon as you hit this point, buy this last one. If you already have these others, just buy them as you can, because they are the most important thing upgrade you can get at this point in time on your first succession. Because they make your golden cookies last so much longer. They last for like 2 minutes and 15 seconds or something like that with all those upgrades, without even any accession stuff going into them. So they last a really long time at that point. So it gives you a more of a chance to get a combination. As you can see, I have like 50 something seconds left on this frenzy cookie. The cooldown is gone, so another cookie could appear anytime now in the next 118 seconds. And if it does, I'll either get a refresh on the frenzy, or I'll get another effect, as you have been seeing it going on in the background here. But that is how you get your first accession. And it's pretty much I want to say the only way you're really going to do it. I mean, you could just grind the shit out of it out, but it's just going to take you so long. But this is what you do. You unlock the Force Hand of Fate. You wait until you have 1 or 2, if you're really lucky, 2 cookies going, like a frenzy, a click frenzy. You click this. You hopefully get something else on it, not just a refresh of the 2 you have. And you get like the building special, or if you have Grandma Apocalypse going, you get Elder Frenzy. And you just go wild, and you just skyrocket in your prestige level, and you're good to go and start unlocking prestige. And after your first accession, it gets a whole lot easier, because you'll have stuff to help you out. But like I said, just read the guide I'm going to have like linked into the description that I showed you a second ago, which like right here. Wait, no, that's not it. It's this one. That's another one that I'm going to show in just a second. Yeah, so you want 440 for your first succession here, and then you'll unlock all of this stuff, and this will just give you a whole lot of good things. It makes it go a whole lot faster. Also, as you can see, you unlock the permanent upgrade slots. A permanent upgrade slot is something where you can slot something into a slot and you'll automatically have it when you restart.